Most people know rosemary as a kitchen herb, something you strip from a sprig and tossed over roasted potatoes. But for most of human history, it meant something else entirely. Greek students wore it before exams. Egyptian embalmers placed it in the hands of mummies. During the Black Death, people burned it in the streets, hoping it might hold death at bay. A humble plant, and yet, for thousands of years, one of the most trusted things a human being could carry. This is Rosemary's story. Welcome to Season 3 of Roots Revealed. I'm Binish aka Beans, your guide to the fascinating history, culture, and science of plants. Together, we'll uncover how plants have shaped civilizations, ecosystems, and our understanding of the natural world. Let's kick off our next episode. The story starts in ancient Greece, where students preparing for examinations would weave sprigs of rosemary into their hair, making fragrant crowns they believed would sharpen their minds. This wasn't superstition born from nothing. Greeks had genuinely observed that people in rooms where rosemary burned seemed to think and recall more clearly. They connected the herb to Athena, goddess of wisdom, and burned it in temple ceremonies. The Romans picked up the practice enthusiastically. Students wore rosemary wreaths during study. Brides tucked sprigs into their bouquets as a promise to always remember their love, and priests used it as incense before frankincense became widely available. Perhaps the most haunting use of all came from Egypt. Archaeologists have found rosemary branches in tombs dating back over 3,000 years, still faintly fragrant after all that time. The Egyptians placed the herb in the hands of their dead, believing it would guide the deceased through the afterlife, a final act of love from the living to those they had lost. Ancient physicians were equally convinced of its power. Dioscorides prescribed rosemary for jaundice as an energizing remedy for athletes. Pliny the Elder recommended the root for wound treatment and the seed for chest pain, gout, and menstrual problems. In Persian medicine, it was prescribed as an imported luxury under the Arabic name Ostokudus, and the great physician Ibn Sina, known in the West as Avicenna, called it beneficial for the brain. The medieval Arabic physician Ibn al-Baytar recommended it for even wider range of conditions: pulmonary infections, liver and spleen inflammation, coughs, spasms, and more. Rosemary's reputation traveled the full length of the trade routes from Persia to Spain. Every civilization that encountered rosemary, it seems, found a reason to trust it. Rosemary arrived in England with a story attached. Tradition holds that in 1338 the Countess of Hainaut sent rosemary plants to her daughter Queen Philippa, wife of Edward III, along with a Salerno treatise on how to grow it. because at that time the plant was still little known in Britain. The man who translated that treatise, Henry Daniel, listed 65 virtues of the herb but added a curious warning. Rosemary would only thrive in the gardens of the rightful and just. Whether people believed it or not, rosemary had acquired a moral reputation. It was no longer just a plant, it was a judge of character. Christianity wove itself deeply into Rosemary's story. Legend holds that during the flight into Egypt, Mother Mary spread her blue cloak over a white flowering rosemary bush to dry infant Jesus' clothes. By morning, the blossoms had turned a brilliant blue, forever marking the plant as the Rose of Mary. As a symbol of divine protection, it became a staple in monastery gardens, while further folklore suggested the plant would never grow taller than Christ, reaching a maximum height of 33 years before only spreading outward. It was also said to bloom miraculously at midnight on Old Christmas Eve, mirroring the legend of the Glastonbury thorn. These beliefs transformed rosemary into a harbinger of luck and health. To invite good fortune for the coming year, families would scatter the herb on their floors, releasing its fragrance underfoot, while parishioners adorned their churches with sprigs of rosemary alongside traditional holly and ivy. In rosemary, the sacred and the everyday had become indistinguishable, a plant that smelled of Sunday rose and somehow also of God. When the Black Death swept across Europe, rosemary became as precious as gold. Convinced the smoke could purify the air, people burned the herb in their homes and carried sprigs in their pockets to navigate infected streets. While medieval practitioners could not explain the mechanism, they had observed a reality. The herb possessed some kind of antimicrobial properties. This reputation for protection soon expanded beyond physical health into the world of the occult. Rosemary was believed to guard against nightmares, ward off evil spirits, and protect against witchcraft. Its role as a powerful talisman even appeared in historical records, including a 1717 trial in Leicester involving herbal charms and ritual brews. Its influence even reached the superstitions surrounding crime and punishment in the 14th century. People believed that washing a thief's feet in rosemary root decoction could weaken them, while the plant's burning bark was said to possess the power to magically free prisoners from their chains. Whether guarding against the plague or the supernatural, rosemary was seen not just as a plant but as an active barrier against the threats of an uncertain world. No one showed Rosemary's meaning more clearly than William Shakespeare. In Hamlet, the grieving Ophelia hands out herbs and says, "There's rosemary, that's for remembrance. Pray you, love, remember." People in Shakespeare's time understood the meaning immediately. In Elizabethan England, rosemary was deeply tied to funerals. Mourners carried sprigs, dropped them into graves, and kept small branches to remember the dead. Funeral traditions differed from place to place. In northern England, attending a funeral without rosemary was seen as disrespectful. In Lincolnshire, it was laid on the chest of the dead. In France, it was placed in their hands. In Cheshire, rosemary was tucked into funeral biscuits and thrown onto the coffin as it was lowered into the grave. Even in the 20th century, rosemary appeared beside poppies on Armistice Day to honor fallen soldiers. For centuries, this fragrant herb became a quiet symbol of memory between the living and the dead. Rosemary played an important role in celebrations and was seen as a symbol of love and loyalty. In Europe, brides often wore it in their hair, carried it in bouquets, and even baked it into wedding cakes. When Anne of Cleves married Henry VIII, she wore a golden crown decorated with rosemary. Wedding guests also dipped rosemary sprigs in wine and pinned them to their clothes for good luck. The herbalist John Gerard even called the plant Rosmarinus coronarium because of its long connection to bridal garlands. Rosemary became so closely linked with household life that a popular saying claimed, "Where rosemary flourishes, the woman rules." Some husbands were said to remove the plant from their gardens to avoid the meaning behind the proverb. Rosemary was also tied to love rituals and fortune telling. Young women planted rosemary sprigs named after possible suitors to see which one grew best. Others placed rosemary and thyme in their shoes on St. Agnes' Eve or slept with a rosemary sprig and a crooked sixpence under their pillows on Halloween to dream of a future husband. In Herefordshire, people left flour beneath a rosemary bush on Midsummer's Eve, hoping to find the initials of a future lover in the dust. In Wales, rosemary tied with white ribbons was hung in windows as a May Day sign of affection. Beyond romance, rosemary was also linked to protection and family traditions across Europe. In Poland, rosemary wedding wreaths were later boiled into a baby's first bath water to connect marriage with a new life. In Portugal, people burnt rosemary to clear away the bad air of arguments and unhappiness in marriage. Rosemary was also the main ingredient in the famous Hungary water, a perfume and tonic said to preserve the beauty and youth of Elizabeth of Hungary well into old age. From weddings to household customs, rosemary became a quiet but constant part of everyday life, tied to love, protection, hope, and tradition. Research has found that rosemary may have benefits for the brain and body. It has been shown to fight harmful microbes, protect brain cells, and have positive effects on mood, learning, and memory. When it comes to memory specifically, even a small amount of rosemary, close to what you use while cooking, showed positive effects on how quickly older adults could recall information, which is an important sign of healthy brain function as we age. Simply inhaling rosemary oil was also found to affect mood and mental performance in healthy people. Natural chemicals such as rosmarinic acid and carnosic acid present in this herb helps fight inflammation and protects cells from damage. However, experts say that the safety and effectiveness of many herbal medicines, including rosemary, are still not fully understood, and more research on humans is needed before any firm conclusions can be drawn. The next time you strip rosemary leaves for your dinner, remember what you hold. It is a tiny fragrant echo of the lives lived long before our own, a gift of protection, a sign of love, and a promise that we will not forget. This simple herb is a living bridge between the earth and our deepest memories. Thank you for tuning into Roots Revealed. Support the show by leaving a review on your favorite podcast platform and sharing episodes with friends and family. If you have any feedback or suggestions, reach out to me at hello@rootsrevealed.org. Remember to keep exploring your roots and celebrating the rich diversity of our shared history. See you next time. Bye.